Okay. We should be streaming. I gotta move my microphone around, as well as my backdrop, to prevent my voice from echoing too much. Come on, you. Oh, I folded that differently this time. 1 second. I guess I gotta stand up. Hold on. Hold the phone. Okay. Back over here. Okay. That should have fixed it. That should have fixed it. What I need is to buy another one of these wooden room separators. This fake wall is what it is. But it's like $90 for one. So I got the one, and I enclosed myself in there, and it does a good job, but it's like real tight. I don't have a lot of room to move around in my chair, and it collects heat like you wouldn't fucking believe. So also my arm's here. Hello, don't mind that. I don't know how, but excuse me? Guys, can we fucking not? Right now? Hey, what are we doing? Is your claw stuck, honey? Your claw is stuck. Hold on, I know. Get up onto the shelf. Get up onto this shelf. There we go. Oh, goddamn cats. Brisket, leave her alone. Get! You good, Bebble? Get yourself sorted out. Get yourself sorted out. You're fine. Brisket, you stop bullying her. The millisecond I go live, you guys start this shit. Let go. Your claw is stuck again. Hold on. I know. There you go. There you go. Alright. I guess you just live down there for a time being. Alright. I am properly live. The notifications has gone out. Good. Good. Alright, is there anything that I'm missing? I feel like I'm missing something terribly important. But I cannot think of it. I guess we'll just chill here for a minute until it pops back up into my head. Can I listen to music that is not going to put me to fucking sleep? Alright, that is also working. Where's my music at? Let's just find something a little better, huh? Also, I did have to make some adjustments to the audio for Amogus Night, so please do let me know. Please do let me know. Hello, John. Welcome to the stream. Welcome. Welcome. Oops, caps. No, you're good. You can caps at me. It is fine. I will accept. Also, honk shoe. Sleepy Jun? You sneak. If you'll give me one moment, I have to go skin a cat. Brisket! Leave her the fuck alone. I'm gonna lock you in with your mother. Come here. No. You're gonna have to be full of piss and vinegar. You can do the zoomies away from Pebble. They're nothing to you. Yeah. Oh my god. We have so many fucking cats in this house. We have too many fucking cats in this house. I love them all dearly, but I am over it. And we can't just get a new house to make room for the cats. Alas. Alright, switch songs. That is also very quiet. That's not very loud. There we go. Let me know if the music is too loud. We will get started ever so shortly. We're just about hitting the 5-minute mark. Ugh. Golly. How are we doing today, chat? I am a sleepy boy. I am a sleepy farmer. Despite having a good day, I am a sleepy boy. I spent some decent time out in the sun. The chicken run that I'm technically fundraising for up top, I actually already bought it. Because the birds really needed it. We have a single coop that it technically has the capacity for, like, I want to say between 15 birds, 10 to 15 birds. But it's not a large enough coop for them to live in 24/7 at that capacity. We only have the 3 silkies, and there is a run attached to it. So they had room to move around, and they also had an enclosed area to sleep. But the grass beneath it died out real fast. And the birds have been depressed. They've been sleeping all day inside the coop. They've not been getting the sunlight they need. And I have been concerned about them. So I set up this donation goal, and my wife was like, are you sure we can wait to the end of the month to get it? Because, like, they're not happy birds. And I'm like, no, you're right. So I just went ahead and dropped the money. I set it up, took some pictures, put the birds in it, and almost immediately their entire demeanor perked up. They were like, ooh, grass, bugs, things to scratch and search for. So they desperately needed some enrichment in their life. But I was out in the sun, sitting with them, making sure that no hawks swooped down and bothered them. It's technically covered, but it's not like bear-proof or anything. If a predator came by and really wanted those chickens, they could get to them. So I sat with them just to see. The donation is just to recoup. Yuck, 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 yuck. Ha, 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 ha. Good one. Good one, June. Good one. Just slow clap. Just, God, you're so funny, Jen. You're so funny, and you're so clever, and it's just great how smart and clever you are. All right, we are gonna go ahead and get started. Now, where's the camera at? The center is right here, so I actually have to move my chair. Will the mic be visible? Well, the mic's casting a bit of a shadow. We'll just have to live with that. Oh, hello? The camera froze on my screen for a second. That's not great. Okay, we're good. Hi, Fish. Welcome to the stream. Howdy, farmhands. Today it is, once again, our monthly tabletop role-playing game book club. And I have 2 books that I want to share with you guys today. We are going to read through them. I'm going to talk a bit about what's in them, why I picked them up, and how I feel about them. And that's the stream. That's the whole stream. You'll see me gesture with my hands a little bit, trying to make it a little more visually exciting. Let's start with the cool one, the one that I just got, right? So, first things first, our theme for this month is potions. I have 2 books around the ingredients and processes required to create magical elixirs of all sorts for use in your fantasy games. It is specifically fantastical due to the nature of the market and what people want these supplements for. It very clearly has a bent towards medieval fantasy. But it's also, both of these books are system neutral. So no matter what fantastical world or system you are using, I feel that these go along with them quite nicely. There's a little bit of conversion needed for some of these things, but we'll get into that when we get into that. The first one we are going to look at is Preposterous Potions by Burning Light Press. This was something I picked up off a Kickstarter. It actually funded fairly recently and fairly quickly. You were just about to ask about D&D, lol. We'll get into exactly what like rules or mechanical support these books come with. But generally, like the unspoken is that most people who buy these are going to use them for Dungeons and Dragons. So there's some hints. There's like, oh yeah, no, this is system neutral, but it's intended to slot easily into D&D because that's where the money is. But yeah, this funded on Kickstarter fairly recently, actually. I just got it last week in the mail. This was fulfilled by TTRPG. So this is a print-on-demand book. I've had a couple of POD books come from TTRPG, and it's fine. It's fine. Like, I don't have anything bad to say about it. I don't have anything particularly good to say about it. This is a perfectly suitable soft cover book. The only other print-on-demand book I've received was the Limitless Heroics book, which was it's a supplement including rules for adding disabilities and mental illnesses into your D&D game, essentially. And that one was also fine. It was printed oddly, and the paperweight for it, I don't think was great. But this is a better, in my opinion, this is a better idea of what the POD service can provide you. I would not blink twice if I saw this on a store shelf. For the size of the booklet, my hands are not a very good scale. Do I have a blank piece of paper nearby? I don't have a blank piece of paper, but I do have a piece of paper with a ton of notes on it. So like this is an 8x11 sheet of paper. Pay no attention to any of these. You can see, comparatively speaking, this guy is smaller than an 8x10, 8x11, but it's still a decent size. Paperweight is nice too. They did not cheap out on the gloss on this or on the paper itself. So if you want to pick this up, definitely swing by TTRPG and pick it up. I expected this to be more of a zine thing when I backed it. So while I'm not thrilled about my money going to Wizards of the Coast via TTRPG, I am still pretty chuffed with the quality of the final product. And before we get into it, I also want to point out that there is another bonus that I got for backing the Kickstarter, and you can still buy these. It came with cards. It came with a deck of cards for every single potion that is in this book. So if you want to physically hand a card out to your player when they receive a potion, you can do that. And it has all of the stuff on the back. We'll look over this in a bit, though, because I want to show you the main book. Let me put this up here. All right. The last couple times we've done these TTRPG reviews, they've been with much larger books, so I'm actually going to try and read a decent chunk of this. Not every page, but at least the first bits about the processes and what goes into making a system-neutral document. We'll be covering that just to fill the time, and if you have any questions, even if they sound silly, please tell them, because answering them will fill up time. I don't want to be done in 30 minutes. You know what I mean? I mean, that'd be great for the YouTube, but, you know, not great for this. All right, so Burning Lights Press presents Preposterous Potions. God, I wanted something like this for my alchemist so bad. A willing DM would have been nice, too. I don't... Pardon me, off the top of my head, I don't recall how potion making rules work for 5th edition. If my memory does serve, isn't it just you need the ingredients, the time, and the money, and then it's done? There's no, like, it's just meet the requirements, and then we hand wave saying you've made the potion. There's no, like, inherent support for that sort of play style. I had similar issues in another game where I wanted more in-depth potion making to be involved, but the game we were using was very theater of the mind, rules light, and finding the right system to fit into the adventure we were telling was really difficult. So the potion thing was just like an excuse for the shit my character could do, as opposed to an interesting part of the game. So right off the bat, we have this massive table of contents. The font in places is a bit iffy. The main logo, Preposterous Potions, it's readable enough. I don't know how it actually would work for someone who has like reading issues. I feel like it's not It's not necessarily that legible. Also, almost all the text in this book is done in this almost like light handwriting font, which is fine, but it's a little thin on the print. The welcome is legible for certain, but some of the smaller text on an actual page, I imagine some people may have had an issue reading this. But we have the table of contents. There are 81 pages of content in this book, not counting the blackout stuff is the chapter start pages or the mechanics pages. So don't really count these. I want to say how many? I think it's less than 100. There are at least 80 something potions. Actually, no, hold on. In the back, maybe it'll say. Yes, there are 39 empowering elixirs, 20 dangerous draughts, 39 ludicrous libations, 2 master potions. Then we have rollable tables, deadly weapons, alchemist stores, and traveling alchemists. So this isn't just about how list of potions and how to make them. It also gives you ways to incorporate them into your games, which I really, really like. Fish says, having downtime to make anything is the main constraint. Downtime is a forgotten art. Downtime, absolutely, specifically in modern D&D, is a forgotten art for a game that really, really, really needs it. I don't know if you know this, Fish, but way back, way back, in the original versions of D&D, the first handful of tables that played D&D actually played it in real time. So if they didn't play for 10 days, 10 days was how much time passed in between their adventures. So downtime was less, oh, well, this is the downtime session where we talk about all the downtime we're doing. No. It was what kept the players engaged with the game when they could not physically play. That style of play has largely been lost outside of OSR circles. And unfortunately, modern 5th edition, modern D&D, doesn't expect that play style, but still expects people to somehow have downtime without there being a logical way of including it. Because everyone wants to be in the dungeon and killing things, right? They want to play the game. Downtime is like kind of playing the game, but not really. So it's kind of been pushed to the wayside. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and actually read a chunk of this. I don't know if any of this is legible on y'all's stream. Is this better? Can I pull this up here? Is this better? All right. So using potions. Each potion has been designed to give you all the information required to use them in your games. Those are some words, all right. I'm streaming this in 480p, so I can't imagine it's all that legible unless I really go up here like word by word. Follow along, everyone. No, it's not happening. Let's see here. You're on your phone too, so fuck you, am I right? Let's see here. Each potion has been designed to give you all the information required to use them in your games. They also hold heaps of flavorful details to dress upon when using them in character. Additionally, if you want to spice things up, there are plenty of rollable tables to augment each and every category. Below is a sample potion and a simple breakdown of each trait. So this here is what the air quote stat block for each potion looks like. You can see it has a lot of bolded text. The categories are taste or smell, texture, color, look, bottle, use, duration, and effect. And then below it, there's 2 different descriptors. This is where the mechanics in this system neutral supplement comes in. There is the modern mechanics, which is based off as presumably a 5th edition Pathfinder, more to this day and age fantasy game. And then there's the OSR, which assumes you're playing either an original version of D&D or one of the more modern remakes in the OSR scene. The vibe is very, very different. So most of these are actually fairly self-explanatory: taste, texture, color. Let's read what this text is for the Sloth's Kiss, for this temporary, this example potion. So Sloth's Kiss, the taste and smell of it is taste and smells of dark ale. The texture is thick and viscous. Ugh. It is red in color. It looks cloudy and murky. Not really liking the sound of this potion so far. Use. There are three entries here. It can be drunk, it can be used as a coating, or it can be used as an injection. And we'll get to that later in the book, what those three assume. But this potion can be used, sounds like drinking chocolate sauce, minus the chocolate. Ugh. The duration is listed as 1d4 minutes. Effect. The potion, a potion that causes the user to become very, very slow. If you're playing a theater of the mind, just like making it up as you go along, story game kind of adventure, that description is all you need. Effect. A potion that causes the user to become very, very slow. However, there are also some suggested mechanics to go along with it. The modern rules state, movement speed is halved and the affected are only able to perform an action or a bonus action. No reactions can be made. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds pretty much like a 5th edition stat block just yoinked out. Like, pretty good. That fits. I imagine this could be very simply converted into a Pathfinder. It states you can perform an action or a bonus action. I mean, maybe this lowers the amount of turns you have in your 3-turn round. The OSR rules state, the affected is always last in initiative, any movement is halved, and can only perform 1 action per round. That's interesting, because the design philosophy for OSR is very, very different than modern games. It's not 1-to-1. It's not the same effect using different proper nouns. These technically read as 2 different slowing potions, but they are aimed at the kind of design you would expect from either the modern or the OSR space. And every potion in this book has that. I'm not going to bother reading all the mechanics. I'm mostly going to be focusing on the flavorful stuff. That's what I'm here for. But I think it's really neat to see people go out of their way to include sometimes people make substitutional documents, right? They'll purposefully avoid needing any mechanics at all for fear of running afoul of some rule, right? Or they'll basically write their own game system in order to make sure there's no questions wherein they may bump up into a rule case they couldn't expect in a system they didn't write it for. This one is like, no. We get it. We get the people who are buying this are going to be playing some form of D&D. So we will write rules for both of those camps, and, most people should be able to convert it from there. Maybe the OSR mechanics won't fit perfectly in the specific hack that you're playing, but it's close enough to what an OSR version of this potion should be that you can probably make a few tweaks to make it work better in whatever it is you're playing. So I really, really like that. I really, really like that. And then, of course, all this text is just explaining what each of the bolded terms mean. I already went over that. That's fine. Now, this is interesting. The very first page where we get some actual discussion of how this book works, we receive a paragraph called Rarity and Cost. Hey, Allegro! Thank you so much for the raid. Hold on a minute. I gotta pop I got a Digimon sticker. I can use a temporary bookmark. Thank you so. Oh well, you can't see shit. You can't see shit. Hey, Puppy Silver! Thank you so much. Thanks, guys. Where the fuck is my cowbell? Oh, I don't have my cowbell on me. Oh, my cowbell is just out of reach. Oh my god. Hold on. Tegan screams, working on it. You gotta have the cowbell. I gotta give you the cowbell. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in, raiders. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you so much for the follow, Puppy Silver. You also get a jolly jangle of the cheer bell. Thank you. Why is the confetti not going off? Oh, my hotkeys are fucked up. God damn it. Okay, fine. No confetti, but it's fine. And Aya, thank you so much for the resubscribe. You've been subscribed for 18 months. Beep boop indeed. You also get a jolly jangle of the cheer bell. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. We are on page 3 of Preposterous Potions by Burning Light Press. Henbert also didn't say howdy. Are you shitting me? Are you shitting me? Oh, wow. No, it really is not. I didn't even update fucking OBS. It was working. I swan to John. It was working. Let me... Oh, do I have to re-authenticate? I think I have to re-authenticate. And then authenticate the bot. Father, let me speak. I'm working on a hurricane. I'm working on it. Alright. Connect. There we go. Now the bot is connected. Let me try and howdy myself.
Hi there,
There we
Farmagada.
go.
I hope you're having a good night, because it's about to get worse.
Oh.
Papa, I'm feeling funny. Funny haha, not funny 911.
Oh.
What do chickens dance to?
Why are you telling a joke? I don't know. What do they dance to?
Hen house music.
Thank you, Henbert. Thank you. Anyway, we are looking at Preposterous Potions, and we are 3 whole pages in because we keep stopping to talk about stuff. Unfollowing! If you have any questions about the book as we go along, please do ask them because we are technically trying to fill time. I only have 2 books. Rating your son's jokes. Nope. Never. Okay, yes, we were reading Rarity and Cost. If you can't read the text, I'm very sorry. There will be pictures in a couple of pages that will actually be visible.
Tony Morgan. I hope you're having a good night, because it's about to get worse.
Don't you have any other little quips you could add on that instead of that one? You like that one quite a bit. All right, so I just talked about how it has rules for both modern games and also OSR games, and how I really like they included those without specifying a system. It's enough that you can convert it into any specific system of choice, but it's also specific enough that it feels like, yes, this was made for a modern game. This was made for an OSR game. I like that. Rarity and cost has not been assigned within this book for 2 reasons. Firstly, each world and campaign will be vastly different to the next, so it would be very difficult and arguably harmful to say what is and what isn't rare in your worlds, let alone how your economy operates. And secondly, rarity scales often lead to their namesake, an object that is rarely used. One of the major drawing points of this book is the ability to grab some new and fun potions and just run with them. A book that tells you, don't use this potion often, doesn't help anyone. If you really wish a base cost for potions, 100 GP each is a good start. Puppy Silver asks, what is an OSR game versus a modern? I don't know if you're familiar with like Dungeons and Dragons, Puppy. Do I call you Puppy or Silver? Is Puppy like a descriptor, or is like a proper name? Call you Silver. Okay. So the main difference between what is Dungeons and Dragons? Pardon me, I have to choke a 3-year-old hedgehog out. Just one moment, I'll be right back. His neck is very small. I won't take but a moment. You have played 5e. So 5th edition is the stereotypical modern game. It is... You played 5th edition and Pathfinder. Have you played Pathfinder 2nd edition? Or are you a Pathfinder 1st edition? I would personally say...
Father, please murder that rodent.
I'm working on it, Henbert, just a moment. So 5th edition is like what this book means when it says modern. You've only played 1st edition. Okay. Pathfinder 2nd edition and Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition are the modern space. They still have the DNA of old medieval fantasy war games, but they're aimed more at heroic fantasy as opposed to dungeon crawling. 5th edition is not particularly suited to the actual fantasy of crawling through an actually deadly dungeon and losing your character every other session. OSR, or Old School Revival, is a set of design philosophies that aims to go back to the original like 1970s era of Dungeons & Dragons and polish it up so it's less ridiculous and more streamlined without losing the original tenets of play, which is primarily high danger, high death, high risk, but high reward. For all that 5th edition wants to be the edition of Dungeons and Dragons, it's very much about giving the players power and then letting them run with it. Dungeons and Dragons these days is a very different beast than it was when it was originally developed. So while it has the look and all of the trappings of that original D&D vibe, a lot of the design philosophy is just completely different. So, of course, this assumes you're pulling Dungeons & Dragons. Pathfinder 2nd Edition, I would say, is not identical, but comparable to 5th Edition in tone and scope. There are a ridiculous number of OSR-styled games. There's Old School Essentials. There is Dungeon Crawler Classics. There is the Black Hack, the White Hack. I'm trying to think. Technically speaking, Lamentations of the Flame Princess counts, but that one is really kinky and not in a good way. So I would never suggest anyone like seriously try to get into Lamentations of the Flame Princess unless they already had someone who was playing it and was cool with the vibe. There's a lot of weird stuff in Lamentations. But also it was like the indie industry darling when 3.5 came out. It was the game that a lot of Dungeons and Dragons players went to if they didn't like what was happening in the main D&D space. Similar to how no one likes 4th edition now. Actually, no, I'm trying to get the timeline in my head right here. I want to say Lamentation of the Flame Princess was the darling when 3.5 started coming out and they were making massive changes to 3rd edition, but before Pathfinder was available. Then Pathfinder came out. You played one game of 4th edition, it was rough. I am a 4th edition defender. I think that it had a lot of really good design ideas, but the time it was released and the lack of online tools to support it, I don't play Dungeons & Dragons at all for a number of reasons, but I've read through 4th edition, I've listened to people play it once or twice, and I liked the mind space they were in. It just was not the right game for the time. Definitely, no, not at that point in time. Let's read page 4. We're 30 minutes in, we're on page 4. Once we get to the actual potions, where it's just like pictures and names and a brief description of what it does, we'll speed through this book much faster. Let's see here. So, side effects. There are some additional suggestions for rules. There's an extra table not listed in the main potion description. Side effects are there to add further ramifications to a potion's use. You can introduce them in several ways if desired, with some suggestions including when multiple potions are used at once or over the course of a day. You can include a die roll, such as a 1 in 6, made when potions are used. If the character has a weak constitution, so some games are going to be like, yeah, you're downing this magic potion, but it tastes like shit, roll your constitution to see whether or not you have a bad side effect from it. So people like that stuff. So instead of including all those mechanics in each individual potion, it suggests them and then gets you out of the way, which I actually quite like. I've seen this done wrong before, though. I've seen times where instead of purposefully designing their book to include certain tables, they throw a bunch of tables in the back and be like, yeah, here's some tables. And it's like, why? These technically fit the tone, but you very tightly designed half a book and then threw tables at the end of it. Like, why? I mean, I am also at fault of that. My game Swing, my superhero fantasy game that I wrote, which you can get for $5 on itch.io, by the way. I also just threw a bunch of tables in the back and shat it out because it wasn't meant to be anything more than fulfilling a request. Swing, huh? Yes, SW//NG, because the forward slashes look like motion. Get it? I think it's neat. So far, this seems fairly well thought out in terms of you, the reader. I agree. This is technically, all right, so this was the table of contents. This is like the legal stuff. Oh no, you're making a sex joke. Oh, piss off. Thank you, Hurricane. So here's 1 page of rules, 2 pages of rules. All of these are actually rarity and cost. All through this page, these are not required. This describes how they've worked their stat blocks out, but this is like answering all the obvious questions that someone who's buying this will have. What about rarity and cost? Are there side effects? Can I change the duration? Yeah. There are also some extra rules for OSR, which just suggests some ways to make the dice rolls for these potions better match up to your version of OSR. OSR can get some funky dice math in there. The last paragraph is what I really like. It's titled Balance, and if you have spent any time reading up on tabletop game theory, specifically around 5th edition, you will have heard people go on and on about balance forever. I have my own opinions, but this book has a very good paragraph about it. Quote, "But what about balance? You may cry aloud. The reality is, balance, air quotes, in many games is not really an achievable goal, nor is it always desired. There are hundreds of factors that will affect a game's balance, and the use of a potion shouldn't really be the deciding factor. If you believe a particular potion will ruin your session, simply swap it out for another. Or, alternatively, use it as an opportunity to come up with some crazy ramifications for its use, such as side effects." I love this paragraph in particular. I have spoken at length about my opinions on game balance in 5th edition specifically, and how even though the community, the homebrew community and the DM community strives for it, there is no actual way to balance Dungeons & Dragons aside from just eyeballing it the same way you would like measure out sugar for a recipe, right? Like if you're cooking, you eyeball that shit. You just pour the soy sauce, you just tap in the garlic until your heart says stop, right? Way too many people think that 5th edition is designed more like a baking recipe, where if you get even slightly too much or too little of an ingredient, you could ruin the chemistry of the entire product. 5th edition, despite everyone claiming it does not work like that. And I really appreciate this book specifically straight out saying, don't worry about balance. These potions are not meant to be balanced. Don't critique this saying the potions are unbalanced. At best, don't use the wild ones. At worst, just use it as an excuse for shenanigans. Come on, it's D&D. Let chaos reign. Thank you, Allegro. I appreciate that. All right. So now we get into some of the potion tables, and you can see they do some color in here. Not a lot of color. The red is kind of hard to read on this camera in particular, and the paper is not actually white. The paper is a slight off gray, which I think gives it an interesting vibe to it. But when you combine it rather with the red font here, the red stuff is very hard to read. I would prefer boxes actually, or just lines denoting where each one ends and the next one begins. That would probably, actually now that I'm looking at it, it would probably get a little funky for the old eyes. So let's, so we have taste, color, texture, look, bottle, strength, and alternative strength. Now this is interesting, okay? Because there's two tables for strength here. There's strength and alternative strength. And strength, the strength table is 1, overwhelming, which lasts for 12 hours. 2, robust, 4 hours. Standard is set to 3 and 4. So standard, just the 1 hour duration, has a 2 in 6 chance of being rolled on this table. Then mild and feeble are on 5 and 6, respectively. So rolling that out, you will get primarily standard potions and then a random assortment of the alternatives. It's not, some tables are weighted specifically so that the weaker it is, the more likely you'll get it. Like this book said earlier, no. This book is about putting cool shit in your game, so put cool shit in your game. Don't worry about rarity, it's fine. You'll get a little bit of everything over the course of your sessions, and you're good. The alternative strength, however, makes that a straight D4, and each entry has a 1 in 4 chance. So overwhelming, robust, standard, and mild. Feeble isn't even included in this. So just straight up, as random as it can get. Like, don't even care about weighing it. You're not going to get a common kind of potion. It's whatever God decides. That's cool. That's cool. Personally, I don't think the alt strength was needed. Maybe if they wanted to call it like OSR, because like having it be more random feels more OSR style, but they didn't. So, then we have side effects. The side effects mostly are bad things. So addiction, bleeding eyes, blindness, deafness, intoxication, laughter, loss of balance. Like, this is just like the bad stuff that you want to happen. If I were to use these tables, I wouldn't actually use these side effects. I'd probably go more for a wild magic surge kind of thing, where these are fine as side effects. They match the fantasy of drinking something and you have a bodily reaction. I would rather have them be more fantastical. But if you're going fantastical, then a single D10 table is not going to be enough, and there are plenty of wild magic tables out there that I could use instead. Coding. We mentioned previously that coding was listed as a way that a potion could be used. Basically, however many uses a potion has, you can use that to coat a weapon or tool and transfer it as though they had drunk the potion. So you can dip your arrows in a potion and fire them if it specifically says you can coat a weapon with it, which I think is neat. That's actually something that I've noticed from reading various potion-based homebrews, is that a lot of people will ask, hey, can I coat this? Or they'll make up unique rules or unique recipes for coding specifically. And this one just says, yeah, no, don't even worry about that. We're just gonna, however many uses are in the bottle, that's how many you can put on your arrows, I guess. Go for it. All right, so this is the fun bit. This is where I really like, woohoo, yes, good. The ingredients. Now we're getting into making the potions. Potion ingredients are a fun extra rule set that can be added to your game to flesh out monster hunting, potion creation, or even the quests that revolve around them. Players are often keen to take trophies from their kills, so why not turn it into something useful? This thing has fucking crafting rules in here as well. Potions are designed around 3 core concepts. All right, I love the rule of 3. This is my shit. There is the base, which is the core, mundane liquid component. There is the reactant, which is a natural reactant that mixes into the base, and then the arcane twist, the arcane item that gives the potion its magic. With any ingredients, especially the twist, the more powerful, natural, or pure the source, the greater the effect and duration. This quality may also alter the chance of side effects occurring. So let's see. The bases include things like mead, water, egg yolk, milk, holy water, lava, liquid wax, meat broth. This is the normal stuff you have as the base. You fill your cauldron with it, and this is the base. The reactant is also natural stuff, but it's like dirt, mushroom, sugar, lichen, tin, cinnamon, silver, just something that's a little more fancy, but also is like a normal thing that exists in the real world. Then there's the arcane twist, and these can really be anything. They list dragon claw, phoenix feather, goblin tooth, spider silk, eye stalk. We have a lich bone down here, devil's horns. You could swap this out with any object coming from any fantastical creature you want. There's no abilities attached to these. It's just yeah, sure. You don't have an idea for how this thing is made, then just roll on the table and call it good. All right, so now this is where we get into the graphic design section. We are in the Empowering Elixirs chapter. They have these at the beginning of every main chapter, and this kind of surprised me when I bumped into it. I was like, oh shit, oh, this is actually really pretty. The graphic design on the previous pages, I'm sorry, it's a little bland. And when we actually get into the artwork for the potions themselves, it also the artwork is fine, but the page design is a little bland. That's very much a nitpick. Obviously, they had the chops to go a little more detailed, but based on the scope of the Kickstarter, I imagine they just probably didn't want to put the extra time in to really go out. There's this nice little detailing on the bottom with a bunch of little pieces of potion bottles and some mortar and pestle, but then we have all of this empty space all around, and I'm a little bit disappointed. Just a little bit disappointed. Hi, Strider. Have you been here the whole time? I didn't realize. Page design is hard. As someone who has made these books before, not for publishing, but yeah, no, page design is very, 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 very hard. And the artwork speaks for itself. The artwork on these are actually really nice. I didn't say anything at the raid because I was mid-game. Well, I hoped you won. I genuinely hope you won. All right. So now, each of these potions comes with. Well, you did not. You did not win. Oh well, Oh, it was League of Legends. In that case, you deserve whatever came to you. How dare you? The only thing worse, the only thing that could have possibly been worse is if you were playing fucking Raid Shadow Legends. That's the bottom line. That's literally the bottom of the barrel. League? In the year of our Lord 2023, you're playing fucking League? Good God. Yeah, no, these potion bottles are absolutely gorgeous. Each potion comes with a unique bottle design. Like, I'm sure that they recreated like some specific like elements of it, but on my read-throughs, I haven't looked at a potion and been like, yeah, that looks like another potion later in the book. Consider Manta Mommy, though. I don't know who you're talking about, and I refuse. I am a happily married man. Thank you very much. I do not need a Manta Mommy. If she is available, I might wingman her for my wife, but I've said it before and I'll say it again. I've received more hatred and toxicity in other better games than I have of League of Legends. Consider Fairy You have my attention, Tegan. Oh, okay, stream over. I'm gonna go download League of Legends. I have been told there's a Fairy Twink, and unrelated, No. I knew the Twink would get him. I wish a Twink would get me. Anyway, PG-13 gotta say PG-13 for the kids. The potions look great. The artwork for these are absolutely amazing. All sorts of shut up, Hurricane. All sorts of different designs, bottle shapes, bottle materials being made, being used. They are absolutely fantastic. And let's read through a couple of these, or most of them even. So first, number one, float like a butterfly. Causes the user to float a hair's breadth off the ground, avoiding the terrain below, while still observing to walk normally to any observer. Hi, Mr. Riot. Well, yeah, you missed something. You missed something. We have scale skin. Creates a thick second skin of protective scales to grow all over the user's body from head to toe. This one has a little whale tail, little fish tail as a stopper, which I think is very cute. Look at this shit. Look at this. Fire Warden allows the user to control fire, both to inflame or diminish it. Shocking Glance is in a fucking water skin, which I think is really cool. You don't get a lot of water skins included in fantasy medieval games for some reason, even though they were like actually a thing that took place during them. I can turn the banjos down a bit. Okay, if I must. How's that? Was that better? Wild Arcane Revival. I don't know if you guys want me to read through all of the details about them, because like there is a whole stat block. Consumption refills the user with an arcane essence, though at a wild cost. And it doesn't say what the wild cost is. The rules do specify for Modern that wild magic bursts from the user. Straight up. The OSR is a little different. Let's see here. When the spell slot or scroll is consumed, cast any random non-offensive spell on a random target. Because I don't think wild magic was in early versions of D&D. I think that was added later when the sorcerer. Let me think. If memory serves, the original use of sorcerer, and this is me trying to remember D&D lore that I wasn't present for, so this might not be entirely correct. The original use of the D&D sorcerer was to incorporate Vancian magic. Vancian magic comes from the works of Jack Vance, and it is the system of magic which 5th edition is based on. the memorizing of spells, spell components, spell slots, all of that. Once upon a time, that was unique to sorcerers. Wizards had a different manner of casting spells in the original D&D. Eventually, however, Vancian magic became the core of D&D magic as a whole, so the sorcerer was no longer unique or interesting. I don't think it actually appeared... I'm probably misremembering. It didn't appear for one edition, and I want to say it was either advanced or second. Then when they brought it back, they had to make it unique again, which is how we get the meta magic feats that we see nowadays. Or did Sorcerer dip in 4th edition? 4th edition had so many fucking classes and subclasses attached to it. I could not believe that Sorcerer wouldn't have shown up at least once. Could be, though. Could be. Let's see. Shifting size. The user can alter their size as they desire, be it bigger or smaller. True colors. Those around the user gain a slight aura that reflects their view toward them. Ethereal leap. Gain the ability to teleport short distances. One of the things you'll notice if you get this book is how many of these potions are able to be drunk. That's the one thing that I actually think could have used another pass. The balance between potions that can be drank, potions that are for coating, potions that are for injection are very heavily leaning towards drinking. And that isn't a problem, but when almost every potion in the book can be drunk, that's an organizational issue, I find. They should have really went through and said, do these all really need to be able to be, digested? Why is coating and injection specifically included if the entire point for 90% of these potions is it gets in or on your body and you're good, right? Like, if at that point you don't even need the use, it's just an unspoken. I am not trying to take any potion via injection. I'm very sorry. Yes. That's another thing, actually. I think it's more like people, like they knew people would want like arrows or darts, so they included that. But then at that point, like, again, why not? Why do we need to go out of our way to specify that almost every potion can be drank? It's a potion. It's kind of the point. I don't have a solution. I just feel like they should have gone through and really looked at the numbers of how many potions can be imbibed in multiple ways, how many are only available through drinking, how many are only available through coating, and made sure that each category had enough interesting options for players who want them. Arcane Cleanse cleanses the user of magical effects, both good and bad, and makes them immune to magic for a limited time. The Celebrity Serum. Now, this one's interesting. Effect. The user is believed to be a very famous person. This one can be drunk or injected. What's interesting is, like, hold on, you're making other people believe something about you. Does it change something about you? Or do you now have, like, an aura where, like, you are, like something fucking with their hormones to make them, like, be mind? I don't know. It just feels weird. This feels more like something you would put on someone else. And it doesn't clarify who the target is. Well, it says the user. A glamour. Yeah. Hearing eyes. When focusing on a creature they can see, they can hear any words that are spoken aloud. I don't like the ear floating in that jug. I don't like that. Not a fan. Halter on death. Anything you kill cannot be raised from the dead. Holy shit. That's cool. That's fucking cool. Glider Wings grants the user the ability to glide when their arms are outstretched. Slow falls slows falls and allows for travel through the air. However, it cannot be used to gain height. I want a perma-murder potion. Any zombie you interact with, like, yeah, no, I don't want you coming back, so fuck you. Another thing that you will notice occasionally, even though they go out of their way to have rules for both modern and OSR type games, Sometimes they just make a modern ruling and you're like, there's no reason. Oh, OSR would do the exact same thing. So they just say OSR as above. And like, that's fine. But also at that point, why bother having the denotation? Just write for any campaign and call it good. That's a nitpick. That's a big nitpick. Big nitpick. Elemental Tongue. The user spews forth an elemental attack. Oh, okay. Fettered Rage grants the user an uncontrollable rage. Hot Stuff. This is a really cool looking bottle with like the brass flowers. That's neat. The user becomes extremely attractive to those that can see them. Wink wonk. Athleticus. Jump, swim, climb, and run like an athlete. Okay. Rock Form. Consumption causes the person to turn partially to rock, strengthening their skin but slowing their actions. Oracle Eye. This one looks very foreboding. Look at that. He's staring right at you. I guess I don't need the hot potion. Flips hair over shoulder. A third eye grows upon the user's forehead. They instantly see a vision of the future and hold continuous premonitions of danger. Wise Fool. The user gains much wisdom, but loses their wits. That's a cool description. I actually really like that. Gains much wisdom, but loses their wits. That's just having anxiety? True. Eagle Eyes. The user's pupils narrow as their perception grows, gaining the ability to see far across the lands. Running Legs. Legs of a cheetah with twice the reaction speeds. That's not really how cheetahs work, but okay. The Harm Helper. Elemental Hair. That'd be fun. That would unironically be fun. The user becomes immune to the next damage they would normally take. Oh shit. The modern rules state, negates the next instance of non-fatal damage against the user. This effect can only happen once. That's a little OP, but also, can you imagine giving Harm Helper to your player? And then like 10, 15 sessions later, they're fighting a boss. You've all forgotten about it. And you go and you hit them and they say, well, no, I don't take that damage, boss. I don't take that damage, DM, because, as I stated earlier, I drank my potions before I entered battle, and one of them was the Harm Helper! And the table goes wild. Oh! It's so good. Right, Elemental Hair is here. The user's hair bristles with elemental power, damaging any that come close. Hold on. The user's hair bristles with elemental power, damaging any that come close. The bald gain nothing. Oh no! That's so mean! That's so mean! Be nice! Alright, Secret Eyes. Hidden traps, doors, and mechanisms light up with a red glow that surrounds them. Wings. Wings of an animal grow from the back of the user. Fun. Unrelated, I am going to go cry. There, Hurricane. There. There's probably a grow hair potion in here somewhere. Chaotic Protection. The contents cause the person's skin to be covered with a coat of shifting elements that offer protection. And then Copycat. An exact clone of the user magically pulls itself from the user's body. That's neat and also a little bit terrifying. Oh, this one's neat. Look at this potion. Look at how cool this looks. Let's see. It tastes of anise seed. It's textured as water. It's bronze. It has metal flakes. The bottle is made of iron and glass. You drink it. It lasts for 2d10 hours, and the effect is a false course of health flows through the user's veins. That's so fascinating. A false course of health? Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. Very flavorful. Lots of questions like, what does that mean? Punting. Muscles ripple through the legs of the user, allowing them to kick down anything in their way. This is Rider Kick in a bottle. This is a Rider Kick in a bottle, and I love it. This one is so fun. Look at the bottle on this. Look at this fucking bottle. It's called Anamorphous. You'll never guess what it does. Consumption causes the body to twist and transform into that of a wild beast. Repulsive death. Let's see. What's this? It tastes and smells of cinnamon. I was gonna say lemon, but no. Creates an invisible holy aura around the user that causes the undead to flee. Cool. Cool. Telling eyes. Keen eyes allow the user to see through arcane illusions and magical glamours. Projection. The user gains the ability to project their voice at any pitch, timbre, tone, or volume that they desire. Shadows. The user gains control of their shadow, manipulating it to their heart's content. If you look at that little guy in the background. Does he come with a bottle? Will he be my friend? I hope he will be. Can you imagine having a whole bunch of these on your shelf, and then all the little shadows like gremlins just causing problems throughout the shop? Critical shield. An arcane shield against critical hits. The damage returns back to the wheeler. Return it back to the attacker, rather. Neato. Metros Logia. The user can harness nature to control the weather around them. Little OP, all right. The right stuff. Gain knowledge of how to escape your current location. Okay, that's cool. And last but not least, soothing words. The user's words soothe the ears, dripping with false sincerity that would make any lie sound like the truth. And that was all of the elixirs. Now we go into the dangerous draughts, which once again we have this cool looking, not as cool as the elixirs page, but this cool looking design for the chapter split, and then we're right back. Again, I do wish that the thought that had gone into these chapter separation pages had also gone into like the ink splatter kind of vibe. It looks like it was printed on newspaper. You don't get that over here. And I get that's probably for readability's sake. But then I feel like if they're going to go with a newspaper vibe, they should have kept it going throughout the book. Now, I don't actually know the difference between a draught and an elixir. Let's see here. The durations don't seem to have any standard. Oh no, I see. Okay, so the elixirs are for the player to drink. The draughts are for the player to make someone else drink. So these are all the positive ones. These are all the negative ones. Okay. So yeah, we've already read Sloth's Kiss once. The potion causes the user to become very, very slow. There's a picture of it for it, finally. Swarming Lies, a poison that causes flies to swarm out of the victim's mouth when they lie. Ugh, don't like that. Faron's Flaming Touch. The victim becomes extremely flammable. Oh no! Oh no! Draught, a serving of drink, usually alcoholic, drawn from a keg. Elixir, something that cures all ills or problems. Well, can't expect them to get them all right. They sound fantasy enough. Okay. Lethargy. The target becomes exhausted both physically and mentally. Everything a struggle. This is just depression in a bottle. This is just depression in a bottle. Poor luck. Fates have flown against the afflicted, with no luck to be found within reach. Gross. Senses fail. Those affected become mute, blind, and deaf. Senses overwhelmed and broken. Clamorous thoughts. Consumption of its fumes. Oh, this isn't a spray bottle. Look at this. It's an old perfume bottle. So you spritz them in the face. Consumption of its fumes causes a person to unceremoniously speak their thoughts aloud. Ugh. Foggy mind. The affected is unable to decipher the intentions of those around them. Another potion. That's just depression. Deathly desire. Ooh, look at this. The stopper is a hand reaching out to grab you. Ooh. All undead in the area are drawn to the afflicted. Oh no. Drunkard. Effect. Instant inebriation. Instant inebriation. Pacifist. Those afflicted rather, become awash with a feeling of inner peace and are unable to inflict harm upon others. Arcane repulsion. The poison causes any magic items attached to the afflicted to no longer function. Interesting. Little local anti-magic. Hemophobia. The sight of blood becomes overwhelming, with the afflicted instantly fainting should they see any. Makes sense. Blinding light. All sources of light become an overwhelming beacon of blinding radiance. Sticky skin. I'm not going to read this one. Gross. Mind melter. The afflicted becomes confused and disoriented. Again, the fucking bottle art. These are absolutely beautiful. Unfettered rage. The inebriated becomes enraged, lashing out at everyone around them. Frigid touch. The poison courses through the afflicted, making them incredibly cold. Arcane pain. The afflicted becomes the focus of arcane power. Whenever hit by a spell, its effects are doubled. Aquaphobia. They're afraid of water. Simple as that. Ludicrous libations. Well, now what the fuck is a libation? What the fuck is a libation? Oh, interesting. These ones don't have any mechanics to go along with them, right? Little green squares of mechanics for whatever game system you're using. These ones don't. So these are just fun drinks then. Interesting. There's rainbow hue. The user's skin shifts through the colors of the rainbow. The color changes every minute. Just harmless little doodads, little effects. Smoker's puff. Whenever the affected person speaks, small puffs of smoke bearing the likeness of their face spring from their mouth. Instant water. This one made me laugh out loud when I first read it, so I gotta read it in full to you. Instant water. Taste, smell, water. Texture, watery. Color, clear. Look, clear. Bottle, glass, cork, stopper. Use, drink. Duration, instant. Effect, it's water. I laughed. It sure is water, dude. It 100% is water. Don't inject water. Don't inject water. Also, could this be a drink? True. Putrid breath. The user's breath smells like rotten fish no matter how much they wash their mouth. Social interaction becoming a difficult affair when opening one's mouth. Shifting emotions. The user shifts between angry, happy, hungry, aroused, sad, and depressed every minute. A revolving circle of powerful emotions every few moments. Sparkle skin. The user's skin appears coated in a very fine layer of sparkling glitter. If rubbed, the glitter falls off, leaving a trail behind the user. That's just BPD. Oh no. The much lesser wish spell. First of all, bottle's beautiful. The user gains the ability to instantly wish for something that is completely and utterly useless in the moment. That's why it's called the much lesser, you see. Ambiturner. The affected person can only ever turn to the right, never the left. And it lasts for 1d4 hours. The bruiser. The user's skin bruises very easily, almost to the point where even a slight bump can cause instant marks. Kleptomania. The user feels an overriding urge to steal everything around them. Oh dear. These are really fun and creative. They are. And now that I'm over halfway through the book, I am invested in reading every last one to you, so buckle the fuck up. All thumbs. This one's, I think, is really funny because it actually has multiple buttons on the top in order to, like, release the stuff from the bottom, because it's an iron injector for a bottle. So you have to hit all three buttons in order to allow the liquid to be dispersed from the bottom. But it's all thumb buttons. The afflicted grow an extra thumb on each hand. The effects are cumulative with multiple potions. Can you imagine just making a guy drink multiple doses and he just grows additional thumbs? Like, please, no more. I have too many thumbs. Loosefoot. The user gains the ability to dance like a trained professional with skill and grace. Weapon malaise. This is kind of cool. It's kind of like Wild Westy. It's got 2 pairs of shotguns on it. The user becomes heavily uncomfortable around weapons of any form. Not the idea of violence, but simply the tools used to inflict it. Pointy ears. Upon consumption, the user's ears gain a pointed edge. For all of those people who want to play an elf in a human-only campaign. Let them live, DM. Let them live. Dice Embrace. Fate falls into the user's hands. The next time someone besides the user is required to roll a dice, the user rolls instead. That's cute. I really think that's actually cute. If you're rolling the same dice as your friend, mechanically there's no difference. It's just being able to say like, I drank that weird potion, so now I get to roll your d20. Thank you. My friend always rolls really well. Have them check the roll of their, have them do a float test for their dice. Most people swear by their dice, but these things are not properly tested. They're not actually objective. It's fine though. Old timer. The user ages 21 years. Just boop. And it's instant, so it doesn't wear off either. Just drink this and poop, you're old. Alternatively, there is young of heart. The user instantly turns 21 years younger. Imagine running a human-only campaign, but everyone is instructed to build something that isn't human and pretend to be human. I have read a number of TTRPG stories. Hold on, I got adjustment chair. I've read a number of TTRPG stories, and one of my favorite was one where they were at a magic school, like a Harry Potter-esque magic school. However, one of the players wanted to play a class that had no spell casting. So the DM said, yeah, sure, but you have to continually convince everyone that you are performing magic. So every time the player would have to, air quotes, cast magic, they would use one of their abilities, and like the DM would have them roll for it, and they would describe it as, yeah, no, he definitely cast that spell. The door is unlocked, and it's totally not because they spent the last minute or so frantically trying to pick it. Apparently they got through almost the entire campaign before it was revealed at the end, and the players lost their minds in a good way. It was a good story. Someone is knocking on the door of my enclosure and is waiting very patiently for me to finish. Hello, darling. Everyone say hello to my beautiful wife. Hi. What's up, baby? Did you come for a kiss? You're smacking your lips. Oh, you're whispering in my ear? What is it? You do. You want pizza. Okay. I understand that, and your feelings are valid. I would like to ask what you expect me to do about it, as there is no pizza in the freezer right now.
Hello, everybody.
Okay, so she leaned over and whispered in my ear again, and the only thing she had to say was, "Give me pizza." That's not actionable advice. Do you want to go out and get pizza?
No.
Do you want someone to bring you a pizza? She's thinking about it real hard.
I just want to eat pizza. Hello, June. My sunburn went away, and then I went to the beach and got sunburned again. So right now I'm peeling.
It's nowhere near as bad as the first sunburn, though. She didn't come back with fucking heat stroke this time. Just a little toasty. Just a smidge toasty. You have to determine how to obtain the pizza. No obtain, only eat.
Yeah.
Why doesn't the world simply bend to our whims?
And I want like New York style pizza.
Oh, you want like good pizza.
Mm-hmm.
You want like tasty pizza.
Yes, I don't want freezer pizza.
Does anyone actually deliver to us?
I have no idea.
I mean, are you planning on going to Crumble Cookie tonight?
No.
If you're not going to Crumble Cookie, then we have the fun that we can.
I just took a trazodone.
So, okay. So you took your sleepy bye meds and then said, I'm going to go get my husband to somehow get me a pizza. Jessica, I love you more than life itself, but you understand the scenario that I am now in, right? What are you trying to... Okay, right here? There you go. Yeah, no, you're going to be out like a light in like 10 minutes. They can't even cook a pizza that fast. How about this? It's not the same, but you find a snack now in the kitchen from where we have, and I will get you pizza tomorrow. Is that an acceptable exchange?
Tomorrow's Easter.
Tomorrow's Easter. No, okay.
No one's going to be open.
Okay, listen. Gotta go. Shut up. An egg pizza. If our chickens would fucking lay. Maybe.
Ooh, like a breakfast pizza with runny egg on it and sausage and bacon. Ooh.
I'm sure there's gonna be a pizza place open tomorrow for Easter. Maybe not a sit-down restaurant, but a delivery.
This is the South.
This is the South. This is the South. We are in Florida. We are in northern Florida, which is basically as southern as you get. Okay, Gana, what you do is you make some dough now and let it prove overnight in the fridge. How does that help her get a pizza now unless you're going to introduce time travel into the equation? I don't think it's going to work out. Oh.
One of these days you will get a phone with a less annoying ringtone.
Do you have that,
Today
Hamburg?
is not that day.
Thanks, bud.
Eggshell Acres, Farmer Gadda's barn. This is Henbut. Who did you say again? Interesting surname. Sure thing, I'll ask them. Farmer, do you know I'm a buttface? Wait, no, I just heard it out loud. Damn these prank callers.
You gotta stop answering the phone. We have an answering machine for a reason. They'll leave it if they want us to talk to us legitimately. Someone called for I'm a buttface.
You are a buttface.
Wow!
I love you.
I love you too. All right, give me a big kiss. Mwah. All right, I gotta get back to read this book. Yeah, Jess, you tell him.
Okay, have fun stream.
I will.
Unconscious.
I love you, darling. Sweet dreams. Everyone say goodbye to my beautiful wife. All right. Where were we? We were somewhere. We were in this book. Tweety Throat. I like the use of D, so it's legally separate. Well, Gata. Yes, Tegan. How can I help you, Tegan? Time to find out if pizza places will be open tomorrow. I'll worry about that after stream. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Will it be fine?
You can just Google it yourself, honey. You have a phone.
That's not what I was saying.
Oh, okay. You'll remind me in an hour. Thanks, Teagues. What would I do without you? The user gains the ability to perfectly mimic the call of any bird they have previously encountered. The sound's inauthenticity only discernible through magic. Interesting. This potion specifically, if your party learns how to brew it, will turn your entire game into a bird watching campaign. I'm not saying that as a bad thing. I am just saying if you introduce a recipe for creating a potion that allows someone to perfectly mimic the call of any bird they've ever seen, that will convert your campaign into a bird watching game. Take that information as you will. Chubby cheeks. The user's facial cheeks. Hold on. That's an odd specificity there. The user's facial cheeks as opposed to their other cheeks. Got it. They front-loaded this one. Gain a pinkish hue and a slightly round baby-like shape. When the flushed cherub-like features are adorable to all that see them. Rather than backload this. Yes, true. No, they wrote the user's cheeks, and the editor made a comment in Google Docs, just went, and like, no, you're right. We have to specify. God damn. Number 20 is the random potion. Effect. Roll for a random potion. 1d4 for type, then roll 1d20 or 2d20. If this potion is re-rolled, it becomes a potion of life. Interesting. 21. Wet socks. I like how this one appears like it's dripping, even though it's like just not. The affected creature finds that their socks, if they wear any, are always wet, regardless of the temperature, or if they were recently swapped out for a dry pair. This is evil. This is absolutely evil. Bubbling burps. Whenever the affected burp, rainbow-colored bubbles float from their mouth. This is just fun. I like this one. Just take off your socks. True. This one, I forgot about this one. I was gonna put a note on this one. Fertile form. The user becomes incredibly fertile. That's the potion. That's the effect. Moving on. Maybe they grow plants easily. Question mark? The chat's going, There's another potion in here that I read the title of it in the content table at the very beginning, and I immediately was like, yellow flag. I was like squinty eyes. I was like, this is a D&D supplement, and you're getting a potion that? Ooh, I am on high alert, my friend. Then I came across this, and I was like, that flag sure do be waving. Bright yellow, back and forth, big as a banner. But then I got to we'll get to the actual potion I was thinking of. I'm like, oh, that's not too bad, actually. We're fine. Rubber ducky. Every time the user reaches their hands into their pockets, they can choose to pull forth a rubber ducky up to 3 times per hour. The duckies loudly squeak when squeezed. This is the best potion. This is the best potion in the entire book. I love it. I need it. Turn the whole campaign into trying to wrangle all their kids. Actually, there was a campaign idea where it was like the players are all of D&D's half races. So like half elf, half orc, minotaur, mermaid, I think. It was like, the idea is that they're all clearly half human. The entire party are on a quest to find their human bard father. And I'm like, okay. No, that's actually kind of cool. They're all half siblings, but they're like, the common denominator is a human bard. And I'm like, that's actually pretty funny. I like that. I like that a lot. Here it is. This is the one where I was like, questionable. It's called sex swap. Okay? Effect. The user swaps to a different sex than they currently hold. I was expecting them to be like, you flip to the opposite sex. You flip to the, like you gender bend, right? And I was like, that's not really how that works. In this day and age, you can't really have that kind of language. But no, it just simply states the user swaps to a different sex than they currently hold. They don't specify it's only 2 options. They don't specify if it is physical or you know, how is it more of a gender thing? It's pretty inclusive for a D&D potion. I go from ace to aloe? Maybe. I personally would just give myself massive tits. Captain Hindsight. Effect. The user gains the ability to realize one mistake of a person they can see that was made in the last hour. That's pretty cool. I like it. Inner Clock. The user knows the exact time and date. You could just use a clock for that, but okay. Flavor Tongue. Everything the user consumes tastes absolutely incredible to them. I would love that. We're nearing the end of the book. How do you pronounce that? Schadenfreude? Schadenfreude, I think. The affected cannot help but break into laughter when those around them fail at a task or are injured. Oh, here's Harius Nosius. The user grows incredibly long and thick nose hairs, the threads tickling their lips as they speak. No matter how much they are cut, they seem to regrow with ease. So, simple enough, Hurricane. If you can't grow any up top, use this and then the element thing, and you have a flame nostril, I guess? The Lesser Potion of Knowledge. This should be fun. The user instantly learns one irrelevant and useless fact about a person or object that they can see. That's fun. Inner Clock would be a great way to show a time loop if your party hasn't noticed it yet. True. Potion Lore Master. The user gains the ability to tell exactly what a potion's effects are by smell and sight. Very useful for potions in this book specifically. Restless Sleep. The next time the user sleeps for a period of greater than 1 hour, their dreams are filled with nightmares of the near future. I like this design specifically. It looks slightly menacing with the black spots, but also has like the fireflies in it. I kind of like it. It's pretty. Oh, Dalmatian dots. The afflicted person's skin is covered in large black and white dots. When poked, the dots scurry about and emit a barking noise. That is so cute. That is so creative. I love that. Follicle Power. The user's hair immediately grows 7 inches. The potion, incredibly effective on beasts with thick coats. Foomp. Flatulence Control. Ugh. The user gains the ability to fart on command. The flatulence of any desired strength, length, or noise. With significant concentration, the user can throw the emissions across small areas. Ew. Okay, we're almost done with the main stuff. Beard Face. The user instantly grows an incredibly thick and luscious beard and mustache. With concentration, they may make it grow 1 foot per hour. The beard makes a splendid rope if cut and woven together. This one's gross. I'm not going to read that one. Street Cred. The user knows the location of the closest dodgy location, be it a building, such as a tavern or a thieves guild, or an area, such as a market square or a dark alleyway. That's actually kind of cool. I like that. Here we are. These are the 2 master potions, I believe. Yes. The Potion of Life and the Potion of Death. The potion instantly heals a creature of any injuries and returns them to full health. Should they have died within the last hour, they are returned to life with full health and memories. The potion is useless on undead creatures or constructs. And the Potion of Death. The Potion of Kill You! The potion instantly kills any living creatures. Their body and soul utterly destroyed and past saving from even the gods. Oh fuck. Useless on undead creatures or constructs.
Farmer, knock knock.
What's up?
/Nobel. That's why I knocked.
/Nobel. It didn't give you the pause you wanted. I was supposed to have time to say who's there. Oh well. Hi, Raggles. Welcome to the stream. All right. And now this is the extra stuff, the weapons and stores. This is weapons that you may want to use. So we have needle knives. Specifically, you put the liquid in the hilt and it flows through the blade. I think that's cool. Double barrel crossbows, which is a wrist-mounted crossbow that you can fire 2 arrows at once, which I think is cool. And specifically, it's for tipping them. So you can tip your arrows, put them on this crossbow on your wrist, and fire them at will. The precision blowgun. Whatever you do, do not breathe in. Hollowed out darts. I think these are kind of cool. There's a whole bunch of ideas for weapons that you can use.
Father, I hope you tip your arrows at least 20%.
No, I am too poor for that. They get 10, and that's all I can afford. A ritual dagger. Look at how deadly and scary and spooky this is. Ooh. And then the spiked gauntlets where the liquid comes out the claws. Fuck that. Fuck that. Gross, 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 gross. All right. And we're not going to bother reading all through this, but it does include a whole ass potion shop, the list of wares, an NPC for it, just all this information about a potion shop that you can just throw right into your game. They have a potion shop. They have, what is this guy? Is he an artificer? He's a forger. He's specifically, okay, he's an alchemist. Okay, so he's an alchemist, he's a forger. So there's a place where you can get like special stuff, special potions and poisons brewed for you, weapons perhaps that can disperse them. There's a character, a traveling merchant, Amatal the Odd, the traveling alchemist. They have dogs. I like dogs. I'm good with that. We have another traveling alchemist. This time it is a cat person who's traveling in more of a fine kind of Clydesdale horse carriage kind of situation. Just very drag and drop. Old man Barabbas, who travels in what appears to be some sort of hearse with oxen. Interesting. Very interesting. And yeah, that's the whole book. That's the whole book. I am very happy with this purchase. I got it off a Kickstarter, so I got it for a slightly lower price than it is currently like for sale, I think. It also came with an extra doodad. It came with this deck of cards. These are also print on demand from Drive-Thru RPG, I believe. And it comes in a very simple tuck box. It has the Burning Light Press logo stamped on top. Very simple tuck box. It's not even glued together, so this comes apart and goes flat very easily. The cards are of a fairly high quality. I quite like them. They feel like typical playing cards. They're a little smoother. They got a bit of a gloss to them, but not enough the artwork is messed with. And I'm just going to show you the ducky card is on the top. I'm going to show you just the ducky card. These are meant to be handed out to your players at the table. So we have the ducky card here, and the only information on the front says LL24. So if you want to look it up in the book, you know that it's the libation number 24. That's cool. Flip it over. The main information is right here. So rubber ducky, the taste, smell, texture, color, all of that, the effect. And it also specifies here, ludicrous libation. I think they kind of fucked up with these cards. If these are meant to be handouts for the player should have a little more information available to them from the get-go. Having the page number on the front of the card makes no sense to me, because the point of the card is for players who don't have access to the book all the time. If that information is to be included at all, it should have been on the back with ludicrous libation on the front, along with the title. There's a lot of white space on some of these cards, and I feel like having the actual name of the potion being pictured would have really, really helped, as well as the classification. Is it a draught? Is it a libation? Is it whatever the third one was? So the players, when they're holding all their cards in their hands from all their different supplements, their magic card, their shit. Graphic design is my passion. Yes, exactly. Elixir. Thank you, Tegan. That's the information that you want your players to be holding while they're thinking of what they're doing. The name of the potion, whether or not is an elixir, draught, or libation, so they know what to focus on in the moment. They're like, oh, I want to affect another person with something bad. Where are my draughts? Oh, I have a chance to drink an elixir to help me out. What do I have that will help at this moment, right? We don't get that. We just get LL24, which, And then on the back, it does have all that information. I'm actually curious. Let me find... That's a libation. Let me find... Oh, actually, real quick. All of the specific items have their own cards. Sorry, I keep forgetting where the camera is, so I go too high. All the items have their own cards, and all of the tables have their own cards as well, which is kind of nice. You don't need to have the page open at all times, and you can just flip through them real quick, grab the one, just kind of glance at it. This is more for the DM's use than the player's use. Gotta stop getting too high on stream. Yuck, 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 yuck. Alright, so this is libations. These are all libations. These are all libations, actually. Hold up. I want to find a draught or an elixir. Okay, here's a draught. Okay. Let's see here. Alright, so this is Sloth's Kiss, which was the first potion we ever read about. It does include the mechanics on here as well. What is interesting to me, though, is knowing that some of the mechanics are super... Yeah, some of the mechanics are super in-depth and take up a huge chunk of the card space, making all of the text be much, much smaller. I like the idea of these cards. There's just a little bit of this could have taken a second pass, I think. The design of these could have taken a second pass. But they're still perfectly usable, so what the fuck do I know, right? Doesn't matter what I think. I don't play in-person games anyway. But it was still nice that I got this as a little extra. I do like messing around with cards for my supplements. And having seen what Drive-Thru-RPG can do with print-on-demand cards, I'm actually pretty happy with these. These came out much better than I expected them to. So, that was Preposterous Potions by Burning Light Press. You can get it on Drive-Thru-RPG right now, both the cards and the book. And I don't believe they're doing another Kickstarter in the immediate future, but they basically do regular Kickstarters. I don't recall what their last Kickstarter was, but I am keeping an eye on them in the future because this is pretty good. This is pretty good. Now, the second and final book that I have to show you tonight. We are an hour and 36 minutes in, and this book is not going to take near as much time. So we may end up ending fairly early today. That seems to be the trend with these TTRPG book clubs. I simply do not have the time or the money to get enough books to keep us entertained for a normal 3 to 4 hour stream, unfortunately. All right, just making sure that ping wasn't for me. All right. The next and final book we're showing you today is Brews and Botanicals. We've actually looked at this briefly on a stream before I started doing the book club thing on a monthly basis. We just very quickly ran through it. I was like, yeah, no, it's this. I like it. Get it on Amazon, and we moved on. We moved on from there. I'm going to actually read this in more depth today, specifically so that we can compare and contrast how this does potion making versus how the last book does potion making. And then I'll talk about some other potion stuff that I have seen in my time looking through tabletop homebrew in order to just kind of like just to give you an idea of what the average expectation for these products actually is in this day and age. So, this is System Neutral Potion Making, written and illustrated by Madeline Hale. The author did both the art and the text, which is something that I always appreciate. I love when I see... I know that when people want to make a real high-quality product, they have to split the work between multiple people. Not everyone is an artist and a writer, but I love seeing people who are capable of doing multiple things, combining them into a single, passion of love. Like, this stuff, I love this stuff. This is technically also print on demand, I believe. I believe Amazon prints these directly from a PDF. Because Amazon does that for a lot of books these days. So this is standard. It's not very big. The height portion, it's actually a little wider than Preposterous Potions was. So it's about the same height, just slightly taller. They went with size as opposed to page count, which is fine, which is absolutely fine. And the art in this is really nice. It's just really cute. The colors are bright. They draw your eye to it. What I really like on the outer cover is the use of black. I think this really draws you in. Unfortunately, that does not continue throughout the book. They go and use a regular white paper, which kind of drowns out how colorful and how nice these pictures are. Again, a little more graphic design would be appreciated, but it's not required. That's just a nitpick on my part. Introduction. Greetings and welcome to the Apothecary. In this book, you'll find a potion crafting system that's designed to be a system neutral. While the rules are created to be useful for any tabletop game, you may find the need to alter them to fit your game. Please feel free to do so. This system requires pen and paper, a standard set of 7 polyhedral dice, and a pack of regular playing cards, jokers included. What are the playing cards for? I've actually forgotten. That's fun. That's lots of fun. This was actually printed in October of 2022 by Ismaris Publishing. I don't know if this was a Kickstarter or just like a thing that they made. Okay. Crafting potions. All potions are broken down into 3 strength categories: common, powerful, and wondrous. Common potions cause mild effects. Potions of minor healing, curing infections, causing sleep, ceasing nightmares, changing the wind, etc. Powerful potions are just that, powerful. They heal moderate wounds, summon thunderstorms, induce death-like sleep, etc. Wondrous potions are fantastical. Fly, teleport, bring others back to life, pull stars from the heavens, etc. So right off the bat, this book makes it separate from the previous one, where it is explicitly worried about balance. It immediately says this is how you balance potions. If you think something is simple enough, it's a common potion. If you think it's too powerful for it to be a potion, it's wondrous, and, go from there. Already, the focus of this is very, very different. Potions must be crafted from recipes, which can either be created by the player or obtained through other means. There's a section called Recipe Creation we'll go to eventually. To successfully craft a potion from a recipe, the alchemist must simultaneously roll a success, as determined by the crafting success table, while drawing a card of a red suit, hearts and diamonds. A joker is treated as a red card suit. The alchemist may make multiple attempts, but each attempt requires an amount of time and supplies determined by the recipe. Potions that succeed with a moderate success gain 1 side effect, determined by the success card. So this isn't just a system neutral supplement. This is a system. This isn't like that previous book where it's like you need 3 parts to make a potion. Whatever your game deems fit is how you make it. This one specifically is designing a game that is meant to be attached to other games. So the design philosophy is very different. Let's see. Rolling a 1, no matter what bonuses the player has, results in a crafting disaster. They will draw a card and see the disaster table for results. Crafting potions also requires tools: alembics, mortars and pestles, crucibles, and retorts. If the alchemist is attempting to craft potions without a basic set of tools, they take -2 on their success roll. So this has a very specific implementation in mind. It assumes the game, actually, it's not really system neutral, actually. It is making some assumptions of what kind of system you're running. It assumes you are running a D20-based system that has modifiers of that type. If I were playing a game that uses primarily D6s, and it says -2, that suddenly means whatever my success was is basically like a 1 in 6. That the math on that is ridiculously off compared to a D20. So this book does make some assumptions that I wouldn't want to see in a system neutral document, but I'll roll with it. Also, I am going to drink some water because I'm getting a little dry mouth here. The downside of having ADHD and deciding I'm going to just talk for hours straight is I don't realize that I actually need some liquid until I'm like, hey, I'm slurring my words. People probably can't understand me. I gotta drink something. Ah, shit. All right. Oh, thank you for the veg. Oh, and the hydrate. Thank you very much. Ooh, pardon me. All right. So, the common, powerful, and wondrous tables have a completely different role, a different dice for their success. And they're weighed very differently. I'm not going to bother... Yeah, a complete success for a wondrous is only on a 19 or 20, which seems a bit much to me, but it is meant to be like super powerful stuff. Side effects. Note, while not required, the Game Master may consider keeping the side effects secret until the alchemist samples the potion. So each different card in the deck has a different possible side effect, which is interesting. Very, very interesting. It's definitely more detailed than the other table where it was completely random. It is still fairly random, but it gives you a chance of knowing what a side effect will be based on the card you've pulled previously. And there is an alternative one, which is just a table, just a table of single words. There's also a list of crafting disasters, also using the cards. And these are like the potion explodes in a ball of blue fire, dealing quite a bit of damage. Once the smoke clears, all the alchemist's clothing has been flipped inside out. The potion, black and slushy, comes to life. It crawls out of the crucible and has a chance of attacking the alchemist, befriending the alchemist, crawling away, melting into the earth as it goes, or crawling away, but will appear later to aid the alchemist in a battle. That's kind of cute. Your potion mistake comes back to help you. Leveling up. This assumes there's leveling up in your game. As players continue to craft potions, they will slowly increase their skill. At lower levels, the alchemist is limited to brewing and crafting recipes for common potions. As they level up, they become capable of creating more complicated recipes. For every level, the player may pick one card. This card will count as a success on all future potion crafting attempts, regardless of the suit. The player also gains +1 per level to all recipe creation attempts. For example, a level 4 alchemist will have 4 success cards and +4 to all crafting rolls. So this also, they go out of their way to create a rule set. This isn't system. This isn't system neutral. This is a system at this point. This is a system. There are notes about changing it to fit your game, but also, no, you've made your own system, bub. You've made your own system. There's also prerequisites as well as names for the different levels. So at level 1, you're a novice. Then you go apprentice, associate, fellow, journeyman, and eventually you're a grandmaster. And it tells you how many bonuses you have towards crafting specific kinds of potions. This is a lot. I like it, but it's kind of a lot. Crafting recipes. When a player wishes to craft a new potion recipe, they can discuss the desired potion with a GM. The GM will decide the strength of the potion. Players are only capable of creating potions and recipes according to their alchemist level. If the player is capable of crafting the desired recipe, see the recipe success table. Each recipe crafting attempt requires 2 things: ingredients and time. Okay, so now we're getting... Remember, the last thing we read, it was like you need a basic... You need a reagent, and you need an alchemical twist, a magic twist, right? And that made sense to me. This one apparently involves dye. Ingredients. The supplies die indicates the amount of common supplies required to craft the potion. It can be bottles, alcohol, ash, or wax. These are mundane supplies that can be purchased at any town with ease. The ingredients number... Hold on. The ingredients number indicates the amount of magical ingredients required. Common potions will require fewer magical ingredients than powerful potions. Magical ingredients are selected by the player, though they must somehow relate to the potion, to the recipe they are creating. The Game Master has the final say in whether or not an ingredient is relevant to the desired potion. Okay. So it stops short of having a list of ingredients with their effects attached to it. That's where it draws the line. I appreciate that, but also, if you're gonna make a full system like this, like, go the extra mile. This individual, I'm not going to make too many assumptions about them. I believe that this is a case of a designer starting out very small and then thinking about, but what if this? But what if that? In game design, for tabletop role-playing games specifically, we refer to this as that guy. Everyone knows a that guy. There's going to be that guy at some table somewhere who reads what you've written in the worst possible light and uses it to cause problems on purpose. Designers tend to get kind of stuck in a spiral where all they can think about is that guy, imaginary as they may be, how that guy could read this the wrong way, how that guy could abuse this in some way, even if that the text itself needs to be loose in order to get the design intent across. People will go out of their way to write more additional rules or notes specifically to head that guy off at the pass. The end result, however, does end up a product that feels like the designer didn't trust it to stand on its own 2 feet. This whole thing, this is an interesting enough system. I kind of like it. It's basically its own system, separate from any other game, but it also assumes that if you're going to attach it to a game, you're playing a certain kind of game. It stops short of really letting go of trying to fit in with another system and being its own thing. This is where it stops short. And I feel like this author probably started off with a very simple idea and then that guided it until it ended up being its own thing. Time. After the alchemist gathers their ingredients, they must dedicate the required time to thoroughly test the recipe. This time can be spent all at once or slowly over the course of several weeks. The cooking time die determines how long it will take to brew the potion once the recipe is complete. So there's a research aspect and then a brewing aspect. Let's see here. After these 2 steps have been completed, the player may roll on the recipe success table decided by the potion strength and add any recipe crafting bonuses they may have. Complete failures result in a useless recipe with little to no magical effects. I'm just going to skip this next bit. So common potions take 24 hours. Powerful potions take a week. Wondrous potions take a month to develop. And then there are different roll tables for how successful the creation of these things will be. We mentioned earlier that downtime is a forgotten art. This clearly expects you to have copious amounts of downtime if 1 month is an option. Again, they've made their own system, but they heavily assume what you'll be playing if you attach it to anything else. There's different tools. Their costs, what are they basing this on? 50 GP, 300 GP, 500 GP. It assumes a specific, it's assuming you're playing a D&D like. They have pounds on here. Why do I have to know how heavy they are? Because it assumes. There's a bonus to crafting stuff. Ingredients and foraging. Oh dear God. The alchemist may search for magical ingredients anywhere. They must be in the correct biome to forage for specific ingredients. Draw cards until you draw a red numbered card. Each card drawn represents 1 hour of searching. The number on the red card decides the quantity of ingredients found. Face cards result in a foraging event. If the event is dealt with in a satisfactory way, i.e., creatures are scared off, bandits are killed, etc., the alchemist may collect 1d10 of the desired ingredient. So, at this point, this could basically be a solo game. At this point, this includes the ability to randomly have what's the word I'm looking for? An encounter happen, and it's based off of a player pulling a card. A DM isn't really required for this. And then Each magical ingredient has a tag of one or more magical effects. So now it's getting a little into Fate, where it's attaching tags to objects so that when you go out and you get something and it's tagged with that, you know if you go out and get it again, it'll have the same tag. Health, change, protection, poison, manipulation. Here's a list of all the different foraging events. Ace, the alchemist stumbles upon a very large and very angry creature frolicking in a field. The alchemist discovers a wizard in the middle of harvesting the ingredients, loading them into a big basket on their back. Joker, a sudden eclipse sends the world into darkness as the moon passes in front of the sun. Red sparks emanate from the earth, the only light in the complete dark. The dirt from before the alchemist begins to stir as the skeleton of an ancient warrior fights free from its grasping grave. This is a lot. This is a whole lot. Ingredients. Oh, I was wrong. They do in fact list a whole bunch of ingredients. We have Cadillac, Dahoon lichen, joke moss, muck orchid, turbulent mushrooms. This is wow. And so they have them by biome too. So cave ingredients, desert ingredients, field ingredients, forest, water, mountain. My only issue with this specifically is that not all of these have artwork to go along with it. I really would have appreciated a doodle of each individual resource, not just the description, but the actual doodle, to give players both of the DM variety and the solo players a visual aspect to latch onto for their memories. This is a very different book from the one that just listed potions and cool effects. It is very, very different. Not bad, just different. Just different. This also includes known recipes. All right. Daybreak Tincture. This potion is a gray-green tincture that tastes strongly of alcohol with a lasting herbal aftertaste. When consumed by a sick individual, this potion completely eradicates any symptoms. The user will feel completely normal for 12 hours before relapsing into their previous illness. While taking this tincture, the user will take twice as long to recover completely. Recipe: supplies times 8, white pine times 1, frog lily times 1, cooking time 30 minutes. Notes: this potion is often used by individuals that cannot afford to miss a day of work, or those that don't want to miss special events. However, this tincture can also provide a mild high if taken at a high enough dosage. So this contains similar information to what was in the other book, but it's written more in paragraph form and is not as easy to reference. It also, yes, mild high. It's saying you can get high. It's like cold medicine. It's basically just cold medicine. The inclusion of specific numbers for a recipe might be interesting for a player who wants to do that bookkeeping. I feel that this doesn't really give you the fantasy of potion brewing. Oh, this is cute though. They added an extra blank page for making notes for extra recipes. That is kind of cute. And then it has all of the ingredients with their main tags by name. So we have Arnica algae, protection, health, found in the water. Bald oak, protection, found in the forest. Breathroot, health, change, found in the mountain. So you have a bit of a reference. I think these ingredients would actually be better organized by where they are found rather than by their name. The names are what's made up, right? They're not going to be memorized by your players. And that appears to be the end of the book. Actually, it was made in Orlando, Florida. That's pretty cool. This, I feel, is something you would want to hand to a player and say, you want to be a potion brewer? You want to be an apothecarist? Here you go. Here you are. I'm not going to think about this very much. If you want to do something like foraging on your downtime, you want to spend your downtime brewing, this is for a single player who's really into this kind of thing to be handed by their DM so the DM doesn't have to worry about it. And that's cool. What I dislike about this book is how it is its own system, but it claims to be system neutral. And I mean, I've said this like 4 times now. It clearly heavily assumes that the player reading this or using this is playing some form of D&D. I would probably not use this system myself. I would definitely reference some of the potions and ingredients that are in there. Maybe I would yoink its tagging system, and maybe I would take its events table and use that elsewhere. This was a fairly cheap book. I think it's like $10 on Amazon, so I'm not upset that I bought it. It's just not as usable as I would like it to be. It definitely could have afforded a bit higher production value and being sold on its own merit, as opposed to being a system neutral product, which it kind of really isn't. But hey, not too shabby. Not too shabby. Now, it is only 7:14, but I am out of things to show you. Those are the 2 books that I wanted to show. Oh, there was another thing I want to talk about, which was my experience with finding potion-based homebrews in the wild over the years of me reading them. The majority of potion-based supplements that I have found lean more towards the Preposterous potions side of things. Sometimes, if it's specifically 5th edition, they will add some mechanics to make the crafting a little more interesting. D&D 5e crafting is mostly, do you have downtime? Roll a couple of rolls. You succeed, congratulations. Sometimes they will add additional bonuses based on your class level. Sometimes they will include a list of ingredients that can be found in the Forgotten Realms and talk about how different ingredients will interact with each other. So you make a potion of, I don't know, levitation, and you know that this specific root causes bubbles to bubble up, and this specific horn off of a monster will grant it like infusion powers or whatever. Sometimes they'll go into that depth. Sometimes they'll lean towards Brews and Botanicals. But most potion crafting systems that I have seen have been a 3-step process. Start with a base, add something funky to it, bada bing, bada boom, there you go. One thing that I do like that Preposterous Potions doesn't bother with is having specific, unique recipes. It does not tell you the exact ingredients. It just says you need a base, you need a reagent, you need an arcane twist. And how the player or the DM wants to make that work for the potion they're trying to brew is, I think, very flavorful and better for individual tables. You're not required to remember lists upon lists of potential recipes. You just come up with it when you need it, and then that's the recipe. There you go. There is another Kickstarter that hold on. Jen says, I like the ingredients myself, but for something to slot into your D&D campaign easily, Preposterous Potions is more plausible. I agree. This is more plausible for sliding into a game that already exists. This is either... I'm gonna get canceled for this. This is for a table who has that one autistic kid who is so hyper-focused on having their cottagecore fantasy that the DM knows they'll never be able to match it using the system they have. This is for that player. Or, alternatively, this is for a player who wants to have a potion brewing fantasy. It's for me! No, it's for me. It's for me. It's absolutely for me. I cheered too loud and I woke Meatloaf up. I'm sorry, baby. He's glaring at me like, Father, I was having a nap. Bless his heart. Yeah, no. Or this is for a solo player who wants to have this fantasy happen in a way where they can, like, play the game on their own. That's a horrible nickname. I'm sorry. We call him a number of things. His full name is Meatloaf. Sometimes we call him Meatwolf. Sometimes we call him Meatleaf. Sometimes his name is Wheatmoaf. We call him Meaty. We call him Meaty Ball. We call him Hey You. We call him Bastard. We call him You Little Shit. He responds to everything. He knows the tone in our voice, which is the tone of which is slightly anxious, very put out, and wondering why we've allowed this creature into our home. What about Brisket? Brisket is also Bastard. Brisket is Bastard when he deserves it. Meatloaf is Bastard all hours of the day. He never doesn't deserve it. Brisket is Brisky Boy. We call him Brisky Boy. Sometimes we call him Kisket. I call him Kisket when I give him a Kisket. Never knew Meatloaf would be worse than Brisket. Here's the thing, right? The day that we brought Meatloaf home, Brisket aged 10 years. He went from being a troublemaking teenager to being an old retired grandpa who wants his kids off his lawn. He immediately realized, I cannot keep up with this energy, and stopped trying. Meatloaf does all the mischief around here. Brisket just lounges now. He doesn't climb on things. He doesn't knock things over. The worst he does is play fight with Meatloaf and get a little too rowdy. But aside from that, he just lounges around like, yeah, no, I'm an old man now. You brought in this new kid. I have to step up. This is my life. And they're good boys. I love them very much. Don't get me wrong. Well, I was saying something. Yes, this is for solo players or that one D&D player whose DM can't be arsed to actually try to give them the exact fantasy they want. So they slide them this and say, yeah, you tell me how it works. Not bad. I like it. Don't get me wrong. Not bad. This is the one that's more feasible in a system neutral sense. No matter what you're playing, the information in here will be enough for you to get it up and running in your system of choice. And I really like that. I really like this. And yeah, that's all I got. The cover of Brews and Botanica, again, I mentioned cottagecore. This feels more folk arty. This feels more Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition arty, quite frankly. I love how all of these are done by the author. The artist and the author are the same person, and they're just cute. Look at this. Look at this little image. Oh, I think she's dead, actually. Maybe we'll go on to somewhere else. Look at the mushrooms and the acorns. Look how cute this is.
Do you want to learn something about chickens?
Sure.
Good news. I've got a fun fact to share with you.
Okay.
Did you know? A hen has to eat about 4 pounds of feed to make 1 dozen eggs.
That was the whole fact? You normally have a little something extra to tack onto that. Was that the whole thing? Okay. 4 pounds of feed to make a dozen eggs. Yep. And technically speaking, unless you are raising chickens in a specific environment where you are able to consistently feed them, roaming and foraging is very important for a chicken. Feed only gives them so much of the ingredients they need to produce the eggs while also keeping their bodies healthy. Sunlight, bugs, and grass are also incredibly important. Foraging is also a good mental activity. The act of looking for food, moving things around, finding stuff, it's basically like mental enrichment. They need sun? Oh, you didn't know this? I swear I've told you this, Tegan. I could never be a chicken. True. No, chickens actually have an organ on their head. Normally it's part of their comb that senses how long and how powerful the sunlight is that a chicken is exposed to. When that organ does not receive enough sunlight, the body will stop egg production because, according to the chicken, it's winter time if they're not getting enough sunlight. So therefore, they have to save all of those resources to keep the bird alive until spring comes around. Chicken farms who properly feed their chickens to give them the nutrients they need to survive the winter will use sun lamps to stimulate them in order to keep them laying year-round. Oh yeah, you told me that they had the organ. You didn't tell me it was mandatory for the eggies. Yeah. Their bodies will just stop all egg production if they do not receive enough sunlight. It's actually very important. This is why in Florida, having free-range chickens like we do, because it rains randomly, there will be days, do your chickens need a sunlight? They have access to sunlight in their coop. And I am going to be putting them out in their run daily from now on. So they should be getting all the sun they need. Sun lamps for chickens! No, the issue is less that there's not enough sun around. It's that it's sparse. During the rainy season, which is like 8 months out of the year, we have storms on and off. And depending on how long those storms run, a chicken could have, 3 days of sun and then 1 day of no sun, which will like reset their clock. If the rain comes at an inopportune time, you can have one chicken who just never lays for half the fucking year because their body is like, well, we got some sun, but not enough sun. And then it's like, Carol, what? Earn your fucking keep. And the dumb bird's just like, completely unaware of what's going on. They're funny. They're funny little fuckers. I love them very much. No, it's not currently rainy times. They're fine. Can a chicken die if they don't lay eggies? No, but so there is the possibility that a chicken that is abruptly set off of their egg laying can become what is called egg bound. And this is a medical term. And it is upsetting. I won't go into too much detail, but it's basically when an egg starts to form and then gets stuck. You don't want the eggs to get stuck. That's bad. It essentially paralyzes the bird from the haunch down, and it could be very deadly if it is not solved. Constipated with egg is a way to describe it. It's more like it's not that they're stuck up. It's more like it's less like you really gotta poop and you can't pass it, and it's more like a baby getting stuck mid-birth, rather. Like the space where that egg is normally not expanded unless there is egg, right? So it's not like you just got to give them a laxative and they have a good poop and they're fine. It's like it's significantly more dangerous than that. So that's more of an issue. Like the birds can randomly get egg bound if you're not paying attention to them. That's why you want to always make sure you're consistently caring for your birds, handling them, making sure they're not having any odd symptoms, because you want to catch those things fast, because birds will just keel over and die. They die so fucking easy. The slightest inconvenience, they go, well, that's it for me. Bye, everyone. They shuffle off the mortal coil. But no, specifically when it comes to artificial sun sources, you want to make sure that if you are going to stop offering sun lamps, it is because they have natural sun to supplement it, so they can finish out their laying season without it you don't want to cut them off cold turkey. Which is a weird phrase to use in this scenario now that I think about it. But yeah, my silkies are not bred for egg laying. They are bred for showbirds. So they lay, even when they have proper sun, they lay eggs very intermittently. They're not big on that. Some chickens I used to have would lay every single day, rain or shine. They were just fucking powerhouses. They always laid an egg no matter what. I miss those birds. They're off having a grand time. We visit them every once in a while. Most of them are still alive. A couple have reached their old age. 1 or 2 got eaten. That's how it works. But they have completely integrated themselves with their new flock. We're not planning on bringing them back home. They are happy where they are. The only one that Jessica may consider bringing back if we were to build a larger coop and fence in our house area would be the ducks, specifically Victoria, because Victoria was her baby. And as a duck, Victoria isn't really as, I'm not going to say not as flocky, because ducks they'll still register like, you are part of my flock, I will hang with you. Do the Selkies have names? We've floated a couple, but not really. This is going to sound really mean, but they're kind of boring. This is going to sound really mean, but they're kind of boring. They don't really have unique personalities. Even when they can roam, they don't do much of anything. They're not very friendly. We just kind of have them. And, I care for them, and I don't dislike them. Oh, the birds are boring. Oh, no, the birds are boring. They are show birds, and they are bred to look pretty, and that's it. They're not even dumb enough to have their own, like, they're all Daisy or something. One of the Silkies is specifically Karen. Hold on. No, that's great. Karen. Amazing. Oh my god. Hurricane's dad has a couple of peacocks, and they're wild. So this may end up slightly doxing me if you end up hearing this story from an ex-local. But there is a guy who lives in my town who is old money. And apparently, back in the late 90s, he bought a parcel of land on the river, and he converted it into a wildlife reserve. Less of a reserve, more of a hunting range. He brought exotic animals to this parcel of land that he built up and put a wall around, specifically to go hunting for them. The problem is, the guy eventually got too old, and the animals that he brought propagated. So now there are multiple flocks of wild peacocks just roaming the countryside, and like, they're not really hurting anyone. They're just loud and annoying and all over the place. So these roving bands of wild peacocks just low-key terrorize the populace in this one specific area. Yeah. They are fucking wild. I love them from a distance. God, I want to watch Anime Teen. Wow! Okay, fine. Jesus, be that way then. Okay. All right. Let's see. Who are we gonna fucking raid? Who is streaming right now that we can raid? Obviously, Raglan's gonna go off and watch anime or something. I don't fucking know. Come on. Load up faster. Let's see here. Pardon me. Let's go bother Miss Jackie, actually. They are playing Panorama. I don't know what that is. But let's go bother them. Let's go, /raid Miss Jackie CR. Is it /raid or is it !raid? No, it's /raid. Go tell Jackie that I say hello. Tell them I was talking about brewing potions and TTRPGs. And I will see you tomorrow for more Kirby Return to Dreamland Deluxe. Alright? Have a good night, everybody. Goodbye. Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.